Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Crochet for Baby. Thanks for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit this hat for little girls between 3 and 6 years old. Now you can also make it smaller or bigger. I'd say between 1 and 10 years old. Down here in the information box, I'm going to leave you some information on how you can make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Okay, so let's get started, and thank you for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using these 4mm knitting needles. You can use straight needles. Now I'm going to be using these circular needles, but we're going to make this hat in rows. Now I'm using this yarn. It's called Yarn B Stripe It. This is a number 4 yarn, and this is, let's see, in the color Blush. Now I'm going to have some color variation, but that's because the yarn is like this. Okay, so here, the first thing that we need to do is we need to cast on our stitches. We need to do a total of 91 stitches. Now, the method that I'm going to show you is a long tail cast on. So we're going to wrap our yarn around 20 times, like this. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now we're going to unwrap this, and here we have enough yarn for 20 stitches. We're going to double it up. That's enough for 40. Double it up again. Enough for 60. Double it up again. Enough for 80. Double it up again. Enough for 100. That's how much I'm going to do. You can do a little bit less, but I like to leave a little tail at the end. Now here, we're going to make a knot like this. So this is our long tail. Insert your needles through here, like this. And now we're going to open the yarn like this, hold it, and make like a V here. We're going to go from left to right, and we're going to grab a loop. So let me show you. Grab a loop. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Now, you can use any other method that you feel comfortable. I like to use 2 needles because I like this first row to be nice and loose. So I'm just going to continue like this until I have 91 stitches. So I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished casting on my stitches. I have 91. So now here at the end, I'm going to just tie a knot to make sure that this last stitch is nice and secured. Perfect. Now we're going to remove one of the needles. If you're using both, just remove one of them. Pull slowly to make sure that it comes off. Perfect. So now I'm using circular needles, but like I said, you can use straight needles. We're going to make this hat in rows. Now here, I have a total of 91 stitches. Now the first stitch and the last stitch are my border stitches. We are always going to slip the first stitch and purl the last stitch. Now here at the beginning, I am going to knit the first stitch. So I'm going to knit the first stitch. The next one I am also going to knit, and then I'm going to purl. The next one, knit. The next one, purl. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. This is how I'm going to continue until I finish at the end with a purl. Remember, we are always going to purl the last stitch. So knit 1, purl 1. This is how I'm going to make my ribbing. So continue, and I will meet you at the end of this first row. Knit 1, purl 1. I'm at the end of this first row. Remember, the last stitch we are going to purl. Now turn for the second row. Here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slip the first stitch from here on, and we're going to purl the first stitch and knit the next. Purl, knit, purl, knit. Now this is how I'm going to continue for the second row. Continue, and I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the second row. This is my last stitch. Remember, the last stitch we always purl. Here at the end I had 2 purl stitches. Now turn for the third row. Now we're going to do this for about 7 rows. If you want this part to be wider, then go ahead and make more rows, but I think 7 rows should be enough. We'll see how many I do exactly, but all you do is just slip the first stitch, knit the first stitch, and then purl. Knit, purl, knit, purl. Continue like this. When you finish, remember at the end, your last stitch you're going to purl, then you're going to turn, slip the first stitch, and then continue and do the same thing for a total of 7 rows. Okay, continue, and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I did a total of 8 rows. This here is measuring about 1.5 inches. If you want to make it wider, just make more rows. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to start our pattern. So from here on, like we did this part here, we always slip the first stitch. And to begin this first row, there are 4 rows that you need to repeat. Now, for this stitch, you need to repeat 4 rows. So this is going to be the first row for the first repeat. Like I said, the first stitch you are going to slip. The next stitch you're going to knit, and then you're going to purl 2. Now, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to purl 2, 1, 2, knit 1, purl 2. Now you're going to knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, purl 2, 1, 2, knit 1, purl 2. Again, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. This is how you're going to continue for the rest of the row. You're going to knit 5, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Now here at the end, we're going to finish with 3 purl stitches. These 5 stitches here, you're going to knit, 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 and then purl 3. I'll meet you at the end of this first row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row. Here at the end, I realized that I am missing 1 stitch. Here, I have my last 5 knits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember I said we need to finish with 3 purls. So I'm missing 1 stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this loop right in the middle, right here, and put it on my needle like this, and now I'm going to purl this and then purl the last 2. So now you should have 92 stitches instead of 91. Now that was an easy fix right there. See, you can't really tell that we added a stitch there. So now we're going to turn. This is going to be the second row, so we're going to slip the first stitch, and here we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to purl 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. Again, purl 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, purl 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 2, 1 and 2, purl 1, knit 2, and then again you're going to repeat purl 5, then knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, and then again purl 5. This is how you're going to continue: purl 5, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, all the way to the end. I will meet you here at the end, 3 stitches before we finish, to show you how we're going to finish this second row. Now I'm here at the end of this second row. I have 4 stitches before we finish. I told you 3, but it's 4. These 5 last stitches here I purled. So now we're going to knit 2, 1 and 2, purl 1 and purl the last. And that's how you finish the second row. Now for the third row, we're going to turn here and we're going to do the following here. We're going to slip the first stitch. I'm going to knit 1, purl 2. Now we have the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What we're going to do here is the first 2 we are going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit the 3rd stitch, yarn over, slip the 4th stitch, knit the 5th stitch. The 4th stitch, you're going to bring it over the 5th stitch. And that's what we're going to do every time we have these 5 stitches. Now, the next 2 stitches you are going to purl, knit 1, purl 2. And this is how you're going to work these 5 stitches. Now, the next 5 stitches, we're going to do the same thing we did here where we do yarn overs. But first, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit the 3rd, yarn over, slip the 4th, and knit the 5th. Now bring the 4th stitch that you slipped over the 5th stitch. That's how you're going to work these 5 stitches. Now the next 5 stitches, you are going to purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. And then again, the next 5 stitches, you're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit the 3rd stitch, yarn over, slip the 4th stitch, and knit the 5th stitch. Bring the 4th stitch over the 5th stitch. Again, the next 5 stitches, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. The next 5 stitches, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit the 3rd stitch, yarn over, slip the 4th stitch and knit the 5th stitch. Bring the 4th stitch over the 5th stitch, and then repeat again. The next 5 stitches, you're going to purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. That's all we're going to do from here on. Just count 5 stitches and look at your stitches here. You know that you have 5 knits, so you're going to do the yarn overs. The next, you see that you have 2 purls, 1 knit, 2 purls, so you're going to purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. That's how you're going to continue to the end. I will meet you here at the end to show you how to finish this 3rd row. I'm here at the end of the 3rd row. These last 3 stitches here at the end, we are always going to purl. Perfect. Now for the 4th row, you are going to slip the 1st stitch, knit 2, and purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next 5 stitches you are going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. It's the opposite of what we did on the previous row. Now purl 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the next 5, you're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. And then again, purl 5. This is all we're going to do for this 4th row. Purl 5, and then the next 5, you're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. Continue like this to the end of this 4th row, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this 4th row, 4 stitches before I finish. These last 5 stitches here, I purled. So now we're going to knit 2 and purl 2. And this is how I finish this 4th row, which completes the first motif here. And what I mean by motifs is this little part here. See how there's little holes? So that's 4 rows, and then we're going to continue and repeat these 4 rows. This is a little bonnet that I did that's already in my channel. I'll leave the link to that down here in the information box, or if you click the little lamp down here next to my channel name, you'll find the tutorial there. It's a beautiful little bonnet for a newborn baby. I'm going to show you one more time 4 more rows. So here you're going to slip the 1st stitch, you're going to knit 1, purl 2, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, purl 2, 1, 2, knit 1, purl 2. And then again, we have the next 5 stitches, knit 5, and then the next 5 stitches, you're going to purl 2 and knit 1, purl 2. This is how we're going to continue for the rest of this 1st row. Continue, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm here at the end of this 1st row. I'm here at the end. I have 3 stitches left. Remember, in this row, we purl 3 at the end. And that's how I finish the 1st row. Now, for the 2nd row, slip the 1st stitch, knit 2, and then you're going to purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. Now the next 5, you're going to purl 5, and in the next 5 you're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. This is how you're going to continue. You're going to purl 5, and the next 5 you're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, all the way to the end. Continue, and I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. I have 4 stitches left. Here at the end, you knit 2 and purl 2. Now for the third row, this is where we make these little holes here. What you're going to do is slip the first stitch, knit 1, purl 2, and now into the next 5 stitches you're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip the 4th stitch, knit the 5th stitch, bring the 4th stitch over the 5th stitch, and that's how you're going to work these 5 stitches. Now into the next 5 stitches, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. And then again, we have the next 5 stitches. You're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit the 3rd stitch, yarn over, slip the 4th stitch, knit the 5th stitch, bring the 4th stitch over the 5th stitch. And into the next 5 stitches, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. This is how you're going to continue for the third row. Continue, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the third row. These last 3 stitches for this row you always purl. Now turn. Now for the 4th and final row, you are going to slip the first stitch, knit 2, purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next 5 you're going to knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, and then again purl 5, then the next 5 stitches, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2. This is how you're going to continue for this 4th row. You're going to purl 5, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, all the way to the end. I'll meet you at the end of this 4th row. I'm here at the end of this 4th row. I have the last 4 stitches. Here you're going to knit 2 and purl 2. And this is how I finish the 4th row, which completes the second motif here. As you can see, we have 2 little holes now. Now from here on, this is all you're going to do. You're going to continue and repeat these 4 rows in the exact same order as I showed you. So here, to start you off, you are just going to slip the first stitch, knit 1, purl 2, and then you're going to knit the next 5 stitches, and into the next 5 you're going to purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, and then again knit 5, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Now continue like this. I'm not sure how many repeats I'm going to do, but continue watching. I will meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I did a total of 11 repeats. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 repeats. And then I went ahead and did 2 rows of the next repeat. Just did the 2 rows. And it's measuring from here to the end. It's measuring about 20.5 centimeters, which is about 8 inches. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to reduce here. So to do this, this is how I'm going to reduce here. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. I'm going to slip the first stitch and I am going to purl 2 together. And then purl 1. And now we have the 5 stitches here. These 5 stitches, I'm going to keep them like this for now. I'm going to knit 5. And the next row I'm going to reduce here. Knit 5. And then we have the 5 stitches in the center. We have 2 purls, 1 knit, 2 purls. So I'm going to purl 2 together. Knit 1, purl 2 together, and then again knit 5, and here we have the next 5 stitches, 2 purls, 1 knit, 2 purls. So we're going to purl 2 together, knit 1, purl 2 together. This is how I'm going to continue for the rest of this row. So continue and I'll meet you at the end. Here at the end of this row of reduction, I'm here at the end of this first row of reduction. I have my last 3 stitches. These 2 I am going to purl 2 together and then purl the last. Now for the second row here, we're not going to reduce. We're only going to reduce on the right side. So slip the first stitch, knit 1, and then purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. And then purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and purl 5. This is all we're going to do to the end of this second row. Continue to the end of this row. I'm here at the end of this second row. Here at the end I purled my last stitch. So now for the third row, this is going to be a row of reduction. So what we're going to do is slip the first stitch and then purl 2 together. And now here we have these 5 stitches. So I'm going to knit 2 together like this through the back, knit 1, knit 2 together, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and then again knit 2 together through the back, knit 1, knit 2 together, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together, and then purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Continue like this to the end of this third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. These last 2 stitches I purled, so now we're going to turn. For the fourth row here, we're going to do the following. We're going to slip the first stitch, knit 1, purl 3, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and then purl 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 3. This is how you're going to continue for this row. You're going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and then purl 3. Continue to the end of this fourth row. Okay, I finished the fourth row. Here at the end, I knit 1 and purl the last. Now, what we're going to do for this fifth row is we're going to slip the first stitch, purl 1, and here we're going to knit 3 together and purl 3 together. Knit 3 together, purl 3 together. Continue like this to the end of this row. Okay, I finished this last row of reduction. Here at the end, I purled 2. Now, I have 21 stitches. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. What we're going to do now here is we're going to close the top of the hat. So to do this, cut your yarn, and we're going to leave a nice long tail here because we need to seam the sides. So just pass your yarn here through this needle, and we're going to remove these stitches out of the needles here. So just remove these stitches into your needle. Okay, so here are all of my stitches. Now hold on to this loop here at the end, right here. Hold on to this loop, because now what we're going to do is we're going to insert our needle like this and then pull. That should create a little knot there. Perfect. Now if you want to go around one more time, you can just go around this way. And then go to the beginning here and just make a little knot. Okay, perfect. So the top is closed. That's what it looks like. So now we're going to seam here along the side. So here my yarn is on the left. We're going to go on the right here and find the very edge. Along the very edge, remember we were slipping the first stitch and purling the last stitch, so it creates this V stitch here at the end. So along the very edge here, beginning all the way up here, we're going to find this little bar that goes right there between each row. So insert your needle there. Find the corresponding row on this side, which is this one here. See right there. Insert your needle there. And now find the next row, which is right here. See, insert your needle like this. And then find the next row here. And same thing on the other side, and so on. This is how I'm going to close my hat, like this. And I'm going to do this all the way to the very bottom. So continue, finish this part, and then I'll come back and show you the finished hat. Okay, I finished closing my hat here at the end. I just reinforced the last 2 stitches, and then I just hid my ends here on the inside, and the hat is done, and that's what it looks like. Now here I went ahead and added a pom-pom. You can leave it out, it's optional. So my little hat is done. Now this little hat here is for a child between 3 and 6 years old. If you're going to put it on a smaller child, you're going to have to fold it like this. Now you can also make it smaller or bigger. I'd say between 1 and 2 years old, and bigger up to 10 years old. Down here in the information box, I'm going to leave you some information on how you can make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.